Hey guys, what's up? It's Melanie. Today we're going to work on this old tall boy, but I thought I would give you a real quick tour of what the store looks like right now. Look, we've got some really cool living wall art, nice staghorn fern, and if you guys are interested in how to make these baskets, there's going to be a video coming soon. Thought we'd take a look around real quick because you guys ask and show you. We are fully stocked. We've got our IOD products here, our stamps, transfers, and molds, and look at the DIY. Guys, we've been working hard. If I am lucky enough to have you as one of my customers who orders DIY and IOD, let me tell you, now's the time to get it. No drop shipping, which means you get it super fast. Look at those lockers. Ugh. All right, let's get busy. This dresser is missing the slide that goes in here, and those are really important to make your drawers function right. Unfortunately, it's not something that you can just buy at your regular Home Depot, so I ordered mine from ROCKLER. I was really pleased with the quality of it, and it worked great, so here's how I put it in. If you're not interested in watching this portion, go ahead and skip to 7:48 right now. The slide in the dresser is still there, but the other part that's supposed to be on the drawer is not. So we're gonna go ahead and get rid of all of this. Let's try our new one in and see how it fits. It's obvious that we're gonna be making some cuts in order for this to fit correctly. The lip on the female portion of this slide is supposed to fit right underneath there, and it should fit in between the grooves in the back. Well, it's too big. So let's go ahead and make some lines there, and we're gonna cut that out. So we have it fitting on the back. We need to make that little portion right there slip underneath the lip of the front. So let's go over to the miter saw. There's a little adjuster on the side here where you can control the depth of which your blade plunges in. Right now it goes all the way in to cut stuff all the way through. But if we unscrew this pin, move this little guy over here, we can make it so that it drops down but it doesn't cut all the way through. Thought I'd share that with you guys because that is something that I did not know about my miter saw for a while, longer than I'd like to admit. Really, really handy for things like this. I adjusted a few times to get it to the right depth, and then you're just going to go back and forth to cut off those pieces. You could do the same thing with a regular handsaw, I'm certain, but this is a lot easier and it seems to be a smoother cut. Right, perfect. Now you can see that's thin enough that it should slip right under that little lip in the front of the drawer. We cut off the excess on this one, drilled a pilot hole so that we can hook it on, add some glue and a screw, and what do you know, this portion of the slide is ready to go. The little portion in the back is much thicker than it needs to be. So I'm gonna go ahead and get that in there, and I'm gonna apply a little block with some glue, and that'll hold it in there nice and firm. Screw it in the front and see if that drawer fits. The guy that sold us this dresser decided the more furniture polish he put on it, the more I'd like it, I guess. I don't know, but now I gotta clean it and clean it good, and we're definitely gonna need to prime. There's just so much on here. I definitely do not prime everything that I paint. The paints that I use and sell don't require priming in most cases. This one, you can see, is super shiny. You can see the reflection of my hand. And like I mentioned before, the furniture polish, oh my gosh, this thing was so slick, like we almost dropped it. So we're gonna go ahead and put 2 coats of primer on here to block that furniture polish and to help our paint adhere, because this is so slick. This is definitely not my favorite hardware, but I am not willing to replace all of this hardware. There's a lot of drawers, a lot of hardware. We're just gonna work with it. So let's go ahead and prime that up too. 2 coats of primer and we are ready to go. Let's get started with vintage linen and of course my Klingon S50. Best brush ever. You guys already know that. All right, we're gonna work drawer by drawer. Have you ever dropped your can of paint and spilt it all over the place? Well, that's what happened here. So my mermaid tail is in that little bucket. Now we have our misting bottle and we're ready to start giving a little blend. When blending, I always like my paint to be a little damp, a little wet. That's gonna help your colors blend together and just have a more smooth, uniform feel. I'm always going to have my misting bottle in my left hand, and that's going to give me easy access to giving a little spritz whenever I need it. For the look I'm going for today, I'm going to use my darker color to frame out each drawer, going around those edges, then bringing that color in, mixing with the vintage linen and creating a whole new color. Going back and forth, side to side and up and down is going to really help to make the transitions and smooth out any harsh lines or brush strokes. Okay, so we're getting down lower. Now I'm gonna add in some Bohemian Blue. I definitely want to deepen and darken this entire thing, but I want the bottom to be a bit darker than the top. Almost like an ombre, but not really. When I used almost all the Bohemian Blue on my brush, it was really very dry. So that was a really good time to go ahead and hit the hardware a bit, just to bring it out a little bit more. Down here, I'm doing both those drawers together. So I'm gonna go ahead and add my Bohemian Blue over my vintage linen and then just kind of start dragging it up so that the bottom of the piece works in with the top of the piece. And as some of you might know, what can happen is that your entire piece gets darker. And yeah, that's what happened. But still cool. And you can still see some mermaid tail in there too. seems like I always go back to blending the blues in one way or another. I don't know what to say. I'm comfortable with it, and it happens to be my favorite. All right, time to seal this bad boy up. We're gonna use DIY's clear wax and cover the entire thing. This is my 2-inch palm brush. In my opinion, the best wax brush ever. So let's go ahead and get going. As you can see, when you apply wax to DIY paint, it changes dramatically. It's definitely gonna darken it up, and it's gonna dry to a color similar between when the wax is fresh and when the paint was dry. Now let's add in some details. We're gonna go and dip into our DIY black wax. I don't know if you guys have tried these waxes, but they have absolutely no odor to them. It's really, really nice, especially when you're confined in a garage like I am right now. Handy little tip, if you ever get too much of your dark waxes on there, you can go back in with your clear and it'll work like an eraser. Meanwhile, let's go ahead and put some white in some areas and just kind of highlight it, make it a little bit more, let's work with her curves. Thank you guys for watching, and don't forget, if you need any of these products, you can find them on my website at Windmill Vintage Designs. You guys are awesome, and remember, only you can make it happen. I'll see you next time.